You've heard the stories, seen the movies. The full moon rises, a man screams, and his body twists and breaks, contorting into a monstrous beast. The werewolf. We dismiss it as folklore, a scary story to tell around the campfire. But what if I told you the connection between the moon and the werewolf is deeper, stranger, and far more real than you ever imagined? What if the legends weren't just stories, but distorted memories of a forgotten, terrifying truth? The full moon doesn't just illuminate the night, it awakens something primal, something ancient that slumbers within our very DNA. The truth is not in the history books. It's written in the sky, and it's coded in our blood. Let's start with the moon itself. For centuries, we've known it controls the tides. This immense gravitational force pulls on Earth's oceans, creating the rhythmic rise and fall of the sea. Now, consider this. The human body is about 60% water. If the moon can move entire oceans, what effect do you think it has on the water within us? The medical community has long debated the lunar effect, with anecdotal evidence from emergency rooms and police departments suggesting a spike in strange incidents during a full moon. They call it coincidence. But could it be a trigger? Not for everyone, but for a select few with a specific, dormant genetic marker. This idea isn't new. Ancient civilizations, long before modern science, understood the moon's power. They didn't have telescopes or gravitational theory, but they had observation. The Babylonians linked the moon to deities of both creation and destruction. The Greeks associated it with Artemis, the wild goddess of the hunt. These weren't just myths. They were attempts to explain a palpable energy, a force that seemed to influence life on Earth in profound ways, from agriculture to animal behavior, and yes, to human sanity. Now, let's introduce the science, or what modern researchers might call epigenetic. This is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. Think of your DNA as a massive library of books. Most books remain closed your entire life. Epigenetics is the force that decides which books get opened and read. What if a specific, rare genetic sequence, let's call it the lycanthropy gene, exists within a small fraction of the population? A dormant, prehistoric gene left over from a time when humanity was something different. For most, this gene remains silent, a closed book on a dusty shelf. But then comes the trigger, the full moon. Its gravitational pull, its specific wavelength of reflected light, the subtle shifts in the Earth's electromagnetic field. What if this unique combination of celestial forces is the key? Not a magical curse, but a biological switch. During the 29.5-day lunar cycle, these forces fluctuate, but only during the peak of the full moon is the signal strong enough to unlock that specific genetic code. The epigenetic switch is flipped. The book is opened, and the instructions for a horrifying transformation are read aloud by the body's own cells. This isn't just about turning into a wolf, it's about unleashing a primal version of ourselves. Think about the physical changes described in the legends: increased strength, heightened senses, rapid healing. These are all survival traits, amplified to a terrifying degree. The body isn't being cursed, it's being upgraded to a predator state. The pain of the transformation isn't supernatural. It's the agony of bones lengthening, muscles tearing and rebuilding, and the nervous system being rewired in minutes. It's a biological process, but one so violent and rapid it appears monstrous. Historically, where do we see evidence of this? Consider the case of Peter Stump, the werewolf of Bedburg, in 16th century Germany. He confessed under torture to a pact with the devil and to killing and eating numerous people. The authorities claimed he used a magic girdle to transform. But what if there was no girdle? What if Stump was one of these individuals with the active gene, and his town, steeped in superstition, could only explain his horrific acts through the lens of witchcraft and demonic pacts? The magic was in his blood, and the full moon was his master. Think about the berserkers of Norse legend. These warriors were said to fight in a trance-like fury, a state they called berserkergang. They would howl like wild animals, bite their shields, and were immune to pain. Historians have proposed explanations from ritualistic practices to psychoactive mushrooms. But the descriptions bear a chilling resemblance to a controlled, partial transformation. Could these legendary warriors have found a way to tap into that same primal genetic code, not through the moon, but through intense psychological and physiological rituals, unleashing a beast mode in battle? So, the connection is threefold. First, the gravitational and electromagnetic influence of the full moon acts as a specific biological trigger. Second, this trigger activates a dormant ancient gene present in a tiny fraction of the population. Third, this activation unleashes a rapid, violent physiological change, overwriting modern human biology with a primal, predatory blueprint. The howl you hear isn't a wolf. It's the sound of a human nervous system being overloaded. The sound of a man's consciousness being devoured by a predator that has been sleeping inside him all along. The legends also tell us that a werewolf can be killed by a silver bullet. Why silver? It seems random, a purely folkloric detail. But again, let's look for a biological explanation. Silver has powerful antimicrobial properties. It's been used for centuries to purify water and treat wounds. In modern medicine, silver ions are known to disrupt key cellular processes. Now, imagine a hyperaccelerated metabolism, a body in a state of extreme cellular regeneration. What if this rapid state is uniquely and catastrophically vulnerable to silver? What if introducing silver into the bloodstream of a transformed werewolf doesn't just poison it, but causes a complete systemic collapse, a chain reaction that shuts down the hyperactive cells instantly? It wouldn't be magic. It would be targeted, exotic biochemistry. The collective unconscious is a powerful thing. Carl Jung believed that all humans share a set of innate, universal memories and ideas from our ancestors. The werewolf myth is one of the most persistent and widespread across cultures that have never even interacted. Why? Perhaps it's not a story we invented, but a memory we inherited. A deep, instinctual fear of what happens when the moon is full, a warning passed down through generations, encoded not just in our stories, but in our very souls. A memory of a time when we weren't the only humans, when we shared the night with another kind of man, one that hunted when the moon was bright. So, the next time you look up at the full moon hanging like a silent, silver eye in the sky, don't just see a beautiful celestial body, fill its pull. Consider the water in your own veins, the ancient history locked in your DNA. Remember the stories. Not as fantasy, but as a fragmented record of a terrifying biological reality. The secret isn't that werewolves are real. The secret is that the potential for the werewolf might be real, and it sleeps inside us all, waiting for the right signal from the sky. The truth has been hiding in plain sight, and the moon has been trying to tell us all along. Thanks for watching. If you found this unsettling, hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the shadows. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is it folklore or is it biology? Sleep well.